understand? You done found a new breed of Hebrews that stand and walk with the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Most High. And we don't care who we got to come up against. You ain't standing before this truth. You understand? We done took them all on and gonna continue to take them all on. Of my true love's head.
Surrounded by Edomites, lost a lot of truth to this tree of life. Open up the book just to see I'm right. Reminiscing on my ancestors, on those ships who had to plead for life. Took us to a place where ain't never safe there. Poisoning our foods and put our children up in daycare. Fresh out of slavery, still thinking that they care. Guns in the community, children can't play there. Brothers still brainwashed, we died for that same cost. Took away our history, believing that we ain't lost. Brother, I'm an Israelite, sin is like kryptonite. Brothers won't pray, no, they rob a link a chick tonight. Praises to the Most High, I ain't like most guys. Eyes on the future, but I learned from a boat ride. Tribe of Benjamin, inherited on both sides. Background Jamaica, mistreated and I know why. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Kwam Yasha Allah, sons of the power. Rise from the ghetto and Satan wanna devour. The seal of the Lord ain't found in church towers. Never dying on my knees like no coward. Wanna be an Israelite, you gon' need more than fringes. You gon' need to show you approve and get in them scriptures. Oh, I forgot to mention, traumatized from the lynching. Homicide, we the victim. Amistad ain't the ending. Kids with PTSD, suffering symptoms. Never getting treatment, something he gotta sleep with. Stockholm syndrome so long, and it ain't a secret. That's why I die for them brothers I'm facing east with. Cause I'm an Israelite, crackers better get it right. Visions of my enemies, death flow through my dreams at night. If your mind ain't there, then we don't dream alike. Reporting live from hell, home of Christians and Edomites.
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
While they play the sidelines, comfortable on benches. Catch me on the front lines, putting work in trenches. Making sure our election, preparing for Armageddon. Mastering this profession of prophesying these lessons. Protecting our adolescents and answering all their questions. Teaching the love they reflection, no matter what the complexion. We got a common connection, a part of God's hand selection. A shot at the resurrection, through us achieving perfection. But to give life takes sacrifice. Battle demons every fight. Short days and long nights. Less sleep and more fights. More wisdom, more strife. Telling everybody that they wrong and you're right. I'm an Israelite, blood of an Israelite. I ride for my Israelites and die for my Israelites. We owe a debt cause Christ paid the price. So who ready to give their life the life of an Israelite?
I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites. I'm an Israelite, die for my Israelites. Blood of the Israelites, cry for my Israelites. Going through it cause we're Israelites. Kwam Yashra Allah to all my Israelites.
Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Baruch Thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Alathon by Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite groups. Since 1969, we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth about the Bible, which is you are God's chosen people. Okay, with that, this is the Isupk Florida law class. So like I was saying, we teach our people that we are God's chosen people. We went into a covenant with the Most High, and that means you have a responsibility on how to behave and how to live in the earth. So that covenant was, if we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, he would bless us. But if we did not keep the laws that he established in the earth, then he would curse us. Okay, so tonight is the Florida law class. So what we teach on Wednesday nights here is that the laws of the Most High God that we went into that covenant with, those laws are not done away with. The laws are still valid. 2024, you still are under the covenant that your forefathers went into way back in Moses' time, okay? It was a statute forever. That's what the Bible said. So what you have to do is you have to say, okay, look at the Bible, right? And you say, who did God go into this covenant with? Okay, who is these people? So unfortunately, 2024, the way that we can prove who God went into this covenant with is by the curses. Because even in Christ's time, we were not keeping the laws of God. Okay, so we're under the curse. Okay, if you believe in what the records say, it says if we did not keep these laws, that we would be cursed. Okay, so who are those people living that curse today? You would have to find that out. Okay. Yeshai, Shalom, Yahba Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Hey, Shalom, Marwan. Yabashim Yashabrakata.
Most High Christ. Where we starting at? Let's go to Deuteronomy.
Salakia.
Go ahead. You got a question? My bad.
Come
Sorry.
on.
You got a question?
Come on, sir.
Come on.
If I could, everyone. I got a question in the book of Samuel. It is mainly to do with the blood and the meat.
Okay.
In the book of First Samuel, chapter 14, verse 32. My question is there, and it is basically about when with the meat, the blood in the meat. I just wanted to know I just wanted to know, did they, when they slew the animals, they when you kill a sheep, right, or some kind of animal or goat, right? You kind of hang it upside down or like with the legs up so the blood can drain from the animal.
I have slaughtered sheep and goat. So yes, I definitely
Cut on,
understand what you're saying.
sir, Salakia, if I could, I just wanted to know in these two verses when they say that they ate the meat with the blood. I just wanted to know, is it like they didn't hang the animals, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's read it, see what it says. Where we
Come
at?
on, Khan. This is the book of Samuel, First Samuel, chapter 14, verse 32. And the
Go ahead.
people, Slakia, and the people flew upon the spoil and took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood.
Keep going.
Verse 33. Then they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sin against the Most High, in that they eat with Slakia, in that they eat with the blood.
See that?
And
See, not Salakia. Go ahead, keep reading. My bad.
Khan. And he said, ye have transgressed. Roll the stone unto me this day.
Yeah. Saul's like, kill me. You know what I mean?
Khan.
Because he's in charge of these people. But let's go back to the top. But it's heavy because one of the things I wanted to touch on, once I start the class, I kind of just go ahead and go, wherever it takes me, right? But I got some notes here. My notes was about I wanted to kind of talk to our people about what we eat and what we choose to eat. I got the notes right here. It says,
God, most
what
sound
we
Christ.
choose to eat is based on the Bible. Okay, I got it right here. Anyway, so that's why I said, see that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Lord is real. You know what I mean? Like, so, okay, let's read it. Let's read it from the top again. 32, right?
Con, if you want, me.
Hold on, let me see if we can, hold on. Because it sounds like we just won a war or something.
Con.
Is that what happened?
Con, they Con, and then King Saul made the nation fast that day till the evening, so they were weak in that. So Jonathan came, right, and he ate the honey that was upon the ground, but he did not hear his father say that
Not to eat. Nobody's supposed to eat. Right. I remember that.
Con.
I remember that. So he's saying, he went against what Saul laid down for the people, and it just caused confusion. But I'm gonna start at verse 32. Okay, your question is, did they eat the meat with the blood in it, right?
Sir.
Go ahead. What was the question?
My question was, when they say they ate the meat with the blood, does that mean they did not hang the animal? Like, because they were faint, right? They were weak because they didn't eat. They were fasting. So my question was, did they not hang the animal? Because many fake Israelites would say a medium pink steak. That's the steak with the blood in it.
So no, that what you just said. Okay, so that is not blood. That
Right.
is what they call what's it called? I can't remember what that pink stuff is called before you cook the meat, but it's not blood. I can't recall what it's called. Can't remember, but it's not the blood. It's the can't remember.
Slakia.
Go ahead.
Myoglobin,
There
which
it
is
is.
a myoglobin.
Yes. That's what that is. Okay, so it's like a protein.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like a protein, and that's just the color of it to our eyes. Okay. So verse 32, 1 Samuel 14 and 32, and the people flew upon the spoil. So the spoil is what?
Salakia.
Please.
The possessions that the Israelites took in the battle from their adversaries.
That is correct, but also the other nations can have spoils too, right?
Right.
A spoil is something you get from destroying somebody else, right? Like if I rob you, that's the spoils, okay? So it said we, okay, and the people are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, God's chosen people.
Right.
Under Saul at this time. And the people flew upon the spoil and took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground. So they're on the ground. Okay. Now, one thing I did want to point out is I don't recall anywhere, even throughout the Old Testament, I do not recall ever. I might be wrong, but I do not remember or recall ever a description of when we made a sacrifice, we hung it, you know what I mean, and skinned it, and drained the blood out of it. I don't remember a description of that. Do you?
La'asr.
Right. It never describes that. It just tells us, that we're going to make a sacrifice. Now, you'd have to go to the laws, which would tell you that you can't eat the meat with the blood, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's start over again right here in verse 32. And the people flew upon the spoils, what we gained from slaughtering the other nations at that time, and took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I read it, when I read it, it sounds like they didn't even waste time to cook the food. We cook food always, you know what I mean? That from the beginning, when the Lord raised us up from the dust, he taught us how to cook and how to farm, okay? So, and he told us not to eat it with the blood, right? So you would cook it. So it says right here that they did eat them with the blood. So it sounds like they didn't even cook the food. They didn't cook the meat. They just, maybe sliced a piece off or something with the sword and just ate. You know what I mean? Verse 33. You following me, Yeshaya?
Come on, sir.
Okay. Verse 33. Then they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sinned against the Most High. That's how you know they did eat the meat with the blood. Because they told Saul, the people sinned against the Most High, right? What's the sin?
Slakia.
Mm-hmm.
That they been eating the meat with the blood.
Right. Okay. Then they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sin against God, sin against the Most High. And that they eat with the blood. See that? They're eating the meat with the blood. And he said, ye have transgressed, means you have broken God's law. Roll a stone upon me this day. What does that mean when he said, roll a stone upon me this day?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Like he is so angry, he just wants to, like, you wish he would rather just die.
You know why he's saying that? Why is he saying that?
Because of his frustration.
Mm. Yes, but it's like if we were in our rulership right now, and I am aware of the covenant that we went into with God, and I know if I sin, if anybody in the nation sins against God, he has the authority to either kill that one person that did the sin or put everybody into slavery. You know what I mean? It just depends on how far the sin goes, right?
Right.
If it's rampant throughout, Israel. So Saul is saying, man, just kill me now, because that's the penalty. You know what I mean? Like, you go against these laws, statutes, and commandments, that's death. That's what the Bible says. It gives you life or death, right? So Saul's like, just roll a stone upon me now. You know what I mean? Just to get a precept, right? Let's go. Let's go where it tells us Leviticus 11, I think. 11. And let's go to Leviticus, the book of the Leviticus, chapter 11. Let's see if we can find a scripture where it tells us not to eat the meat with the blood, right? Start at verse 1.
Kanon Khan. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying unto them, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
Right. So, okay. Now, two things. One, hey, shalom, Yahbashim Yashab Barakatah, the one y'all.
Shalom, Yahbashim Yashab Barakatah.
So we're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. So now, I try to, as we go through this, I'm going to try to point this out consistently, that God is dealing with a certain people, not everybody on the earth, okay? And right here is calling these people out by name. The children of Israel, from back in Moses' time, right? This is who God chose. This is his people. Now we have to remember that, because it never says in this book that he no longer only deals with Israel, but he deals with all nations. You won't find that in the Bible. Okay, he only deals with Israel. Okay, go ahead. And the one y'all, you there?
Come with God.
Most High Christ. Do me a solid and see if you could find the scripture where the Most High tells us we can't eat the blood of the the beast that he told us we could eat.
Salakia.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Yeshaya.
That's Leviticus 19 and 26. I don't know.
Oh, we're on our way to it.
Kanon.
Okay. Yeshaya, go ahead and have that ready. 19 and 26, you said, Yeshaya?
Kanon Khan.
The one y'all have 19, Leviticus 19 and 26 on standby. Keep reading, Yeshaya.
Kanon Khan. Verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever parted the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts that shall ye eat.
Right. Okay. So what I was thinking also earlier today, Officer Yeshaya, Officer Nwanyala, we do these classes so often, right? Till we get to the point where we start just chewing on meat in these classes all day, all night, right?
Right.
We have to remember that the whole continual thing is for us to wake up new brothers and sisters. So if we're only chewing on meat in these classes and not drinking milk, we're gonna, we're not gonna reach everybody and wake everybody up that we should, okay? So let's break it down, you know what I mean? So even a 5-year-old can understand this, all right? Now, verse 3, Leviticus chapter 11, verse 3. The Most High is going to tell you, he's going to describe to you what type of animal, what type of cattle that you can eat, what type of beast on the earth that you can eat, what type of 4-legged animal, like, let's say a cow or a horse or a camel or a goat. Okay, the Lord is going to describe to you what type of animal you can eat in verse 3 right here. If you would read it again, Officer Yeshaya.
Kanon Khan. Verse 3.
Wait, let me say this, because I wanted to, I told you I wanted to say this when I first started. So 2024, here we are. And for the most part, people get to decide on their own what they're going to eat. right? So they don't really decide on their own, but they think they do, right? Like, so since society says pork is okay, it's the other white meat, most people will eat pork. Chicken, you know, they push that, so they'll eat that. What else? What else they push? What else is on the grocery shelf that, you know, people go into groceries and buy?
Lawful or
Cow.
unlawful?
Okay, cow. They say cow. You can eat cow. What else, Yeshaya?
Turkey.
Turkey. They say you can eat turkey. So the options that society has laid before you is what you feel that, you know what I mean, you should base your decisions off of. Now we have totally gotten off of the options that the Most High God has laid before us. And that's what we're reading right now. So don't think that you really decide on your own what you're going to eat. You are deciding based on what society has put before you. Now, if society puts before you alligator, after a while, it's just going to be natural. And that's going to be a natural choice for you. Chicken, alligator, or cow, or pork. You know what I mean?
Right.
But since that's not a popular option for this society, if somebody offers you alligator, then you're like, oh, you know, nah, we ain't doing that, you know, because society does not really say you can eat alligator or bat, right? If you do eat these things, you're going outside of the box, and it's more like a what do they call it? A delicacy or something, you know what I mean? Shrimp, crab, and lobster is like a delicacy, you know what I mean? So basically what I'm trying to say is you don't really choose what you want, what you eat. You're basing your decision off of society.
Right.
So if society said that eating dog was good, people would be eating dog. Trust me, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, you know, kind of point that out. We've gotten away from God's dietary law, and we have been willing to make our decisions based off of society's dietary, you know, recommendations. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and read. Okay, verse 3, I'll read it. Now, this is the Most High God telling you what you can and cannot eat when it comes to cattle and, you know, beasts of the field. Okay, it says whatsoever is describing it right now. Whatsoever parteth the hoof. So if it's a four-legged animal and the hoof, which is the, you know, like the foot of the animal, if that hoof has like a division in the middle of it, it parted the hoof, that's one of the qualifications that you can say, okay, now I can eat this beast. But there's more. One qualification is it parted the hoof, okay? Then chew up the cud. Chew up the cud is what?
Slug.
Go ahead.
It's like when a cow eats grass, right, or whatever it eats. Like they eat it, swallow it, keep it in the stomach chamber, and then they would regurgitate it and eat it and just chew it again.
Right. So the Most High is saying the first qualification is it has to part the hoof. The second qualification is it eats grass or hay, right? And then it says among beasts that ye shall eat. Now, those two qualifications. It has to part the hoof, and it has to only eat grass, right? Keep reading.
Khan. Verse 4. Salakit, sir.
Please.
You want me to go to verse 4?
Please.
Khan. Verse 4. Nevertheless, thee shall ye Salakia. Nevertheless, thee shall ye not eat of them that cheweth the cud.
Okay, so now, okay, there are some that chew. First, he said you can eat beast. One qualification of the beast you can eat is it has to part the hoof and it has to chew the cud. Now, there are some animals that chew the cud, that only eat grass. Read.
Cud. Or of them that divided the hoof.
Right. Now there's some that divided the hoof, but he's going to break it down to you why you can't eat those. Go ahead.
Cud. As the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof.
There it is. You have to have those two things in place. You have to have a divided hoof, and it has to chew the cud. Now the camel, he cheweth the cud all day, but his hoof is not divided. That cancels him out according to the Most High God of the universe that created a dietary law for man. Okay, read.
Khan. He is unclean unto you.
He's unclean. That means you cannot eat him. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof.
There we go.
Is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He is unclean unto you.
Right. The Lord just doubled down. All he's doing is giving you examples. He called out two animals to give you two good examples, back to back, so you don't get confused. He chewed the cud, but his hoof is not divided. He's unclean to you. Read.
Verse 6. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, because he cheweth the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
The Lord want to make sure he's making his point. Okay, he's making his point. They might chew the cud, but if the hoof is not divided, you cannot eat this animal. It's unclean to you, according to God's dietary law, not man's dietary law, but God. And that's who we should be following, especially if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. Read.
Verse 7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean unto you. He is unclean to you.
Right, that's the other end of it. Now, this animal, everybody knows this swine, right? That society says you can eat. Man says you can eat swine. But what did the Most High just say? What did the God of the universe, who created mankind, who created the planet, who created the swine? What did he say about the swine? Let me read it for you. The swine, though he divided the hoof, he has that, his hoof is divided, and be cloven-footed. He got the cloven-footed and it's right down the middle. He's got a line of, it's divided right down the middle, right? Yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. So even in the wild, you know what I mean? You see these, what do they call them? Hogs?
Feral pigs.
Right. Those things will eat anything out there. Okay? They don't chew at the cud. They'll eat anything. Okay? So the Lord is saying, this is just one example of what you cannot eat when it comes to the Most High's dietary law. But at the same time, if you're listening to society's dietary law, it's saying you can eat it. Okay, let's drop that. Let's drop down to what Officer Nwanyala got. Let him go ahead.
Slug, I misspoke that precept. It's in Leviticus 17 and 11.
17 and 11. Go to that, the one, y'all, if you would. Go to Leviticus chapter 17, verse 11.
Come on.
So what we're bringing out right now, Officer Yeshaya had a question in 1 Samuel, what was it, chapter 7?
Oh, it was in 1 Samuel chapter
14.
I think.
Let's see, where we at? 7?
Let me just find this. Salak, Khan. It's 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 32.
Right. So we read a precept, 1 Samuel 14 and 32, and it describes God's chosen people eating meat. Now, I wanted to point this out also, Yeshaya. It described the beasts that they ate, right? Now, these beasts were examples of beasts that the Most High say we can eat. That's 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 32. Go ahead.
Khan. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 32. And the people flew up upon the spoil and took sheep and oxen and calves and
Stop.
slew.
Okay, so it just gave you an example of 3 beasts that departed the hoof and chewed the cud. Okay, so these beasts were clean to man, but where they went off was, keep reading, it's going to show you where they go off.
Khan. And slew them on the ground. And the people did eat, and the people did eat them with the blood.
Right. So right there, now you read what you got in the one y'all.
Come on. This is the book of Leviticus 17 and 11. For the life.
Go up one, if you would.
Come on. Leviticus chapter 17, verse 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn among you.
Right. So it said, whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, if you're, because not everybody lived in Israel at that time. Okay. Some people lived abroad and they would travel. You know what I'm saying? Now that's who the stranger is going to be. Or of the stranger that sojourn among you. Go ahead.
Come. That eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people.
Keep going.
Verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Right. So the Lord said that blood in that beast, you shall not eat that blood. Okay. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, Israel is the nation of people that the Most High God of the universe went into a covenant with through Moses. Okay. These are his chosen people. And he's telling his chosen people that they cannot eat meat with the blood. Okay. Or the stranger that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood. So the Lord is going to see you. Okay. And you know what I mean? If you want to put it in today's term, the Lord is going to see you and he's going to deal with you. Okay. And I will cut him off from among his people. Okay. The Lord will deal with you. And you will no longer be, you know what I'm saying, a part of this nation. Okay. So what they did, Saul, back in the book of Saul over here, Yeshaya, was they ate the meat without, you know what I mean, like you said, like without draining it, you know what I mean, properly slaughtering the animal. They killed it, cut it up, and ate it just like that, right? So that was a sin, and Saul was like, just roll a stone upon me. You know what I mean? Even if we read it some more over here, 1 Samuel 14 and 33, it's going to tell you, we know that was a sin. They went to Saul and say, the people sinned. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if we were doing that today in 2024. You know what I mean? Keeping God's laws as a nation of people. That's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to teaching our people that these laws, statutes, and commandments are not done away with. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. We're going to get the basic, okay? Try to show Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that the laws that we just spoke of are not done away with, okay? These laws were given to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians before we was called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We were just the Israelites, God's chosen people, okay? We were called the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Benjamin, okay? That's who we were until we went against God and he put us under these curses. Now we are a byword in the earth. We're called African Americans. We're called Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Mexicans, Argentinians, okay? Instead of being called by our tribe, we're being called bywords, okay? Go ahead and read chapter 27 and verse 1.
27, Adawan?
Yes.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people,
right,
saying,
so now Moses with the elders of Israel is talking to the people of Israel. Okay, keep going.
Taron Khan, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Yeshaya?
Salak, yeah.
Please.
Keep all the commandments. So do not eat the meat with the blood.
That's right. That's a good example. That's a good example. He said, keep all the commandments that I command thee this day. Right? Not just some of them. One second. One second. We're supposed to keep all the commandments. Read it from the top again.
Karon Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
Right. So he's commanding Moses with the elders of Israel. Not the elders of the whole world, but the elders of Israel. The people that God chose and decided to go into a covenant with. Okay? It says, and Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. So now, this is the beginning of Moses laying out this covenant to us, okay? Now you can go to chapter 28, verse 1.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God shall set thee on high above all nations of
Okay,
the
so,
earth.
right, of the earth. Now, Moses is talking to a nation of people. He's part of this nation. The people that God chose, okay? God chose these people to go into a covenant with them, and this is the covenant, okay? The good part of the covenant is, it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments. The commandments is what, Yeshaya?
It's lucky, it's the Lord one.
The commandments is the law, but right now we are talking about the covenant. Okay, so the commandment, the laws, is the covenant that, is part of the agreement that, what do you call it? The contract.
Come.
This is what the laws, these are going to be what's in the contract. The commandments is the contract. If you go into a contract with somebody, you have to follow the rules that are in that contract, right?
Right.
So the Most High is saying to these people that he chose, so through Moses is telling the people, and it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, which means do what he say, okay, and to observe and to do all his commandments, do what's in the covenant, the commandments right here, which I command thee this day. He's going to tell you what these commandments are. That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations. What does that mean? To be above all nations. Give me an example. Anybody?
Salaki, Adawan.
Mm-hmm.
A rulership. That we will be above all nations, meaning we will rule all nations.
Okay, give me an example that you can point out, you know what I mean? So I can look at it and say, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Oh, Salaki, Adawan.
Go ahead.
The way Esau is on top of all the nations today, like he's ruling every nation.
Perfect example. That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. Esau is the first class citizen of the earth. They run the earth. They rule the earth. They are over. Who is over the United States? What country on the planet Earth? Because that's what it said right here. That if these children of Israel keep God's laws, that he will set them on high above all nations of the earth. So we're talking about the planet Earth right now. Who is over the so-called white man today on the earth? Is it the Chinese?
No.
Is it the Arab?
No.
The Egyptians?
No.
The Africans?
No.
The Ethiopians?
No.
Is it the Puerto Ricans?
No.
So Right. So they are in the position that God said you would be in if you kept these laws, these commandments. Imagine that. You would be Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people. And I know this is what's so crazy, Officer Yeshaya and Officer Nwanyala, one of y'all brothers for being in this class. But this is so crazy. We've been on the bottom for so long, and we'll get to that part. But we've been on the bottom for so long, it's hard to even imagine. Like just think with your mind that the Negroes that you see every day, the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Native Indians, to have the ability to run the earth, to make the type of decisions that we see the so-called white man making, right?
Right.
He makes decisions that run the earth. He makes decisions that control the planet Earth. And we can't even make decisions to control our house.
Right.
So it's very difficult for us to imagine us as a people, a nation, a family, being the first-class citizens of the earth. But the Lord wants that for you. So-called Black man, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. The Lord, God of the universe, wants that for you. We went into a covenant and an agreement, and he promised it to you. All you have to do is keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? So drop down, if you would, Yeshaya, to verse 15.
Come.
Now, we read, okay, so there's two sides to every contract. Am I right or wrong? Here's the two sides. If somebody gives me a job to do and they say, okay, I want the job. These are the details, for this job. You have to follow all these details to the letter. Now, if you follow all of these details to the letter and you finish the job, I'm going to reward you with money. Okay? But if you do not finish this job and use all the things that I said you need to use to keep the details of the job to the end, if you don't do that, then I'm going to sue you, and now you owe me, right?
Right.
So this is the same concept that we're reading about in this book. This covenant that we went into, one side says, the Lord said, if you keep these laws, okay, let's go. I'm going to go drop back to 27 real quick, because this is important in today's society, because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, thanks to the church, and moreover, thanks to the so-called white man for pushing lies on our people and making us believe that the laws are done away with, that now we don't think that we have to keep these laws. But I'm going to read it for you right here in chapter 27, verse 1, where it says all of the laws, not just some of them, not just the law of tithing, not just the law of murder, not just the law of, whatever you think fits your life, but you're supposed to keep all of the commandments, all of them. So I'm going to read it real quick to reiterate that we have to keep all of the parts of the contract that the Most High laid before us, okay, that Moses gave us. Chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command ye this day. This contract, we have to keep all of the laws. We have to keep the law of not eating pork. We have to keep the law of keeping the Passover, the high holy days. We have to keep all of the laws, okay? Now, go ahead and read. Now, we read the reward part of this covenant, which if we keep the laws, we keep the contract, that the Lord would put us in a position of rulership on the earth. We would rule the earth over all nations. We would be the first-class citizens of the earth, blacks, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, if we keep the laws. That's it. It's very important. You have to remember that, okay? Go ahead and read verse 15, Yeshaya.
Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
Stop. Now, we read the good part. If we keep the contract, he's going to make us first-class citizens of the earth. You know what that comes with now, because just imagine you being Donald Trump. Just imagine you being Eli Musk, okay? The first-class people of the earth. Now, it says, but, you got to reiterate that but, Yeshaya.
Khan.
It shall come to pass. Read.
Khan, verse 15 from the top. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Stop. Now, if you do not keep the contract, if you do not keep the covenants, if you do not keep the laws that the Most High gave you through Moses, this is what's going to happen. Read.
Khan. To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, so now Moses is laying it out as plain as he can. Okay, he's saying if we do not, I'll read it verbatim. Okay, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. You know, there's so I could just I could bring out a lot of points, and I'm going to bring this one out because it's really heavy. Moses is saying that we are supposed to hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. How do you hear the voice of the Lord God? Anybody? How do you hear the voice of the Lord God?
Salah.
Go ahead.
To listen to a man of the Lord.
That's right. Moses, you know what I'm saying? The Lord dealt with Moses. So whatever the Lord told Moses, Moses told the people. That's how you hear God. Not in your sleep, not, you know what I mean, what society, church tell you today. You know what I mean? Like this voice in your head. How do you know that that voice is God? Just because there's a voice in your head, how do you know that's God? How do you know it's God? If you read this book and it lines up with what these words say right here. Okay, if it don't line up with this, then it's not the Most High. Okay, keep reading.
Slakia, Arwan, you want me to start again from the same, or you want me to go to verse 16? Because you were reading the verse.
Okay, I was reading.
Come on.
Most High Christ. Okay, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments in his statutes, which I command thee this day. Okay, so now you have to keep all these laws, statutes, and commandments. And if you don't, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. What does it mean for something to overtake thee? Anybody tell me, what's this overtaking thing? Come on, the one Yala.
To take control over you.
Right.
Explain
it to me.
Right.
How can a curse overtake me?
Come to take you by force. Like you can't get away from it. You can't run from it. You're gonna have to face it. Is that what it mean by overtake?
I'll take that. I'll take that because here's an example. Here's an example that came to my mind as you were speaking. Overtaking you, like these curses. So one of the curses today, okay, we can read them, but I'm just going to give an example of something that happens to us that we cannot get away from, which is police brutality, right? Police officers shooting and unaliving so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? This is the curse that you can't get away from, even if you are an NFL superstar, right? Y'all follow me?
Come on.
Right. So it just happened to who? The brother that played for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they didn't shoot him and unalive him, but they pulled him over in his $1 million car. Like you can see the stadium. He was like right at the stadium. They pulled him over, pulled him out of his car, jacked him up. You know what I mean? All that they manhandled him, and he couldn't get away from it. It overtook him, even though he got millions of dollars. So I'm trying to point out, like what we just read. These curses are going to overtake the people that God went into a covenant with. 2024, you can still see these curses happening to these people because it said it would overtake you. And it's just like what the one y'all are saying. You can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. Okay? Drop down to, no, keep reading, Yeshaya.
Khan, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Right. These are some of the curses, right, that is going to happen to you. It says, cursed shalt thou be in the city. Now, listen, I'm going to go back to it now. What we're doing right now is we're reading these curses. Yeshaya, the one y'all, we're reading these curses.
Right.
Now, these curses, you're going to look at these curses and see who they fit. That's how you're going to be able to tell somebody who God's people are today.
Right.
Because we're in the curse. We're in the curses right now today. We're not, God showed the people don't get out of these curses until Christ returns. Right?
Right.
Right. So tell me, how can I describe somebody who is cursed in the city? Cursed shall thou be in the city. How can I look at a people that are in a city and say they're cursed? Give me an example. Anybody?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
If you go to,
all right, wait a minute. Before you answer that, I'm going to say this, so it's not no confusion. Pretty much around the world, every city is set up the same. You go state to state. You got, even in all the states, there's different cities, right?
right.
You go abroad, there's different cities in France and all these other places. Now, let me describe to you how these cities are set up. You have the metropolitan, the main part of the city where all the buildings are at, restaurants, all the economic, where all the economics is really at, right? Then outside the city, you have suburbs where there's a lot of houses where mostly the first class and second class people live, right? Then
Right.
in that city, you're also gonna, every major city, you're gonna have a ghetto. You're gonna have a ghetto. I don't care where you go. That's how it's set up. You have the city, right outside the city, you got the suburbs, and then not far from that, you got the ghetto. All around the earth, that's how it's set up. Okay? So now, we're going back to cursed shall thou be in the city. Give me an example if I look at a city and say, those are the cursed people. Anybody?
Slag, the other one.
Go ahead.
Like if you look at you'd basically have to look at the people that's at the bottom of the barrel in that city, like who are the servants. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like for
You don't have
instance,
to
they don't.
explain it because you have to break it down. You got to break it down to somebody, you know what I mean? So you got to explain it. All right, how about you, Nwanyala?
Oh God, you said cursed in the city.
Right, give me an example of like because the scripture said God's chosen people, if they don't keep his commandments, are going to be cursed in the city. So how can I, if I'm talking to a brother or sister and I say, listen, I could see what's going on right there? That's the cursed people in the city. I can give them an example. Give me an example of the people that are in the city that are cursed.
When you seems like every week when you see a police officer brutalizing us in the city, when you see the mass incarceration in the city, the brothers being unalived in the city, seeing the poor of Israel in the city. I think that's all I got, sir.
Slag, the other one.
Come on.
I would say that the ones that are mainly oppressed, like the most oppressed.
Right. So let's say, okay, you have cities in wherever you live. You can
Right.
go downtown to downtown Broward, where the city is at. You can go to, downtown Cape Town, right? Where all the buildings and stuff are at, right?
Right.
You know who's cursed in those cities? I think you were on to it, Yeshaya, earlier. You go to that city, I'm going to tell you, you can look at the people and tell them who's cursed because you're going to see the look on their face. You're going to see it in their demeanor, in their, in their spirit. You know what I mean? Like you're going to see the people that are flipping the burgers in that city, the people that are cleaning the toilets in that city, the people that are picking up the trash in that city.
Right.
Those are the cursed people. You look at them, they're cursed in the city. The so-called white man, they're all sitting at tables eating and laughing and drinking. You bringing the food out to them.
Right.
You're sweeping the floor around them. You're in the back in the kitchen cooking their food. You go to these kitchens, it's nothing but blacks and Hispanics in those kitchens. Those are the cursed people. Okay? They're cursed. They're cleaning the toilets. They're cooking the food. They're serving the food. They're sweeping the floors. Those are the cursed people in the city. Okay? Y'all understand?
Come on, Con.
Go.
Most High Christ. Drop down to verse 32.
Come on, Con. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Now, what we're doing again is we're trying to figure out who God's chosen people are according to the curses right here, because that is the state of the earth today. God's chosen people are being cursed. They're in a curse right now and they're waiting for Christ to return to get them out of this cursed state. Okay? So that's why, and it's such a mind game that Esau played, the so-called white man play on us, because guess what he got all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians pretty much saying today. If you say, especially a Christian in the church, and you say, hey, how you doing? What are they going to say to you, the one y'all? What are they going to say? I know they say in my ghetto.
Salakia. I know what they say.
So, wait, the one y'all, what do they say? If I say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? What are they going to say?
I'm blessed.
I'm blessed. They going to tell you they're blessed, man. Are you kidding me?
Go, go.
They're blessed.
Salakia.
Jesus.
Salakia.
They're cursed right now today. They tell you they're blessed.
Salakia.
You're kidding me, man. Go ahead.
I know how upset you get when they say they're blessed. That's why I was laughing.
It's crazy. Like
Go, go.
you can't pay your light bill. You ain't got no food in the refrigerator. You got to wake up before the sun comes up, and you get off work. You get home when the sun is down. Then you got to do it all over again tomorrow. And you blessed? You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. But that's you know what I mean. That's how deceiving the so-called white man is. Okay.
Right.
You got black people thinking they're blessed just because they're not openly being hung on trees anymore. Now you're blessed. You know what I mean? You don't have to stay on the plantation anymore. Now you're blessed. You got to be kidding me. You're not blessed. Well, we're going to point it out. Who's blessed, who's cursed, who's God's chosen people, because right now God's chosen people are under a curse. So, read it from the top, who was reading.
Come on, Khan. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Now, this is one of the curses that's going to happen to God's chosen people. Read it again.
Khan, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Keep reading.
Khan, and thine eye shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. Salaki. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
Right. Verse 32 says, verse 32 is describing God's chosen people at 2000, right now, 2024. Okay, this is what happened to them. Okay, so you have to look at this, read it, and honestly say, who does this look like? Who did this happen to? Who are these people based off of what we just read? Somebody say Salaki?
La, sir.
Okay. Verse 32. This is the curse. I'm going to read it. This is one of the curses. Okay. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. Okay, so give me an example of some people whose sons and daughters were given unto another people. Anybody? Give me go ahead.
Slakia. We are the people of that has happened that too, meaning the Negroes, blacks, Hispanics, when we were separated from our families during the transatlantic slave trade on the auction blocks, when they renamed us, all those things I don't want, which is in history.
You are absolutely correct. I was going to bring that out. They made movies about it. It's in the history books.
Right.
Okay. They took your sons and your daughters and sold them, gave them to another people. They didn't sell blacks to blacks over here in America. They didn't sell Hispanics to other Hispanics. They didn't sell the Native Indian people to other Native Indian people. They sold them to another nation of people, which is the so-called white race. Okay.
Right.
Now, the people that this happened to, this curse, these people that this happened to is God's chosen people. In 2024, these people are God's chosen people. These people are the people that need to come back to the Most High God and start getting back into that contract that they went into under Moses. These are the people that got to come back and straighten out that contract, get themselves together and get back, doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, so they can get what verse 1, chapter 28, verse 1 promised them. Okay. These people are God's chosen people, basically. Okay. These are God's chosen people. Nobody else. The people that their sons and their daughter was taken from them and given to another people on an auction block in slavery, those are God. That people that happened to, those are God's chosen people. Keep reading, Yeshaya.
Khan. Slakia, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy laborers shall a nations which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and cursed always.
Crushed.
Slakia.
That word is
Oh,
crushed.
Slakia. Yeah, come. Crushed always.
Who does that sound like? Jeez. Like, we're reading these are the curses, unfortunately. Like, you know what's so crazy, the one y'all, what I just realized?
God, sir.
Like, the blessings are brief. But these curses, they go on and on and on. You know what I mean? Like, the blessings, you got a few good verses. It's simple. You go run the earth, you'll be on top. You know what I mean? But boy, look at here. If you do not do what this contract says, if you do not keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, all of them, woo, it's gonna be a long road ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to it. So go ahead and read it. Okay, verse 33. Go ahead, read it.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Right. So somebody tell me what people, as far back as you can remember, in this current, how can I say it? In this current, what's the word for, like, society, I guess? I don't really want to say society, but this current what is
Slakia.
Go ahead.
Dispensation of time.
Right. Perfect. And this current dispensation of time, that, you know what I mean, that is so-called civilization. Yeah, this current civilization, right? Since man so-called became civilized in, this current disposition of time, okay? Who in the world has been crushed only and only oppressed? Who does that sound like? Since the Americas was discovered and began and prospered, what people have been cursed? What did it say?
Crushed.
Crushed, cursed always. No, oppressed. Didn't it say oppressed?
Crushed. Oh, it can't, sir. Oppressed.
Yeah. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Who has that? Who does that sound like? Does that sound like the Arab man? Does it sound like the Arabs? They've been oppressed only and crushed. They got oil. They got millions. They got their own land. They got their own government. So it can't be them, right?
Right.
Does it sound like the Chinese people? They've been oppressed. They have been only oppressed and crushed only. Always, I'm sorry. Only oppressed and crushed always. Does it sound like the Chinese people? Are the Chinese people God's chosen people? Don't sound like them to me.
Right.
You know what this sound like? This sound like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
In this current dispensation of time, we've been only oppressed and cursed always, crushed always. Sound like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians might be God's chosen people. Okay. Drop down to verse 17.
Khan. Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and
No.
thy
I'm sorry.
slug. You mean 37?
37.
Khan, sir. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the land ye shall lead thee. Whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Right. So God's chosen people in this current dispensation of time, wherever they go on the earth, they're going to be an astonishment. An astonishment. What does that mean to be an astonishment? What is an astonishment? Anybody?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Like they will meaning if you look at something, you'll be like amazed or wondering, why it is like that. Like you'll be astounded. Like it's not confusing, but like it will be like how can I say? I want to describe it like you astound at someone's behavior because you can't believe it's like this. Like their behavior is so bad, or like you can't believe it's like that. Like it's not normal. Like it's like it amazes you because like you are paying attention to how something could be like this.
How about we look it up?
Lucky,
Look that word up. Go ahead, the one y'all.
if I may, I don't know if you ever see when the Chinese women be walking with their children, and they see blacks and Hispanics, and they look amazed and just run off with their children.
I'm gonna tell you this. I think they did it in California, and I think they did it in like Philly or somewhere. But they had like a tour bus, and people would come from all over the world to California, and they can get on this tour bus, and it would take them through the projects and black neighborhoods and stuff like that. And they would look at them like, you know, zoo animals or something, you know what I mean? Like people were astonished, like, holy people live like that? You know what I mean? Like they would get on a tour bus and go through black neighborhoods. And people were astonished what they saw. Who got the definition?
Karan Khan. Salakia.
Go ahead.
Karan Khan, astonished in the Oxford Dictionary. Greatly surprised or impressed or amazed.
I like that last one, amazed. Read it again from the top.
Karan Khan, astound, greatly surprised or impressed or amazed.
Right. Surprised, impressed, or amazed. Okay. So, verse 37. God's chosen people will become an astonishment to the world, to the earth. Okay? And thou shalt become an astonishment. People are going to look at God's chosen people that went into a covenant with God that used to be so nigh unto them and be astonished, surprised, amazed. What the heck is going? What is going on with these people? They don't, the people are just going to be astonished by it. They don't know who they are. They don't know why they're in the condition. They don't know that they're God's chosen people. But when they look at them, they're astonished. What is wrong with these people? You know what I mean? Like, wow. Go ahead, Yeshaya.
Khan, even like when the nations look at us, they are all astounded because they see what blacks and Hispanics do in the society, meaning in terms of just in the world, meaning setting trends, how good we are at things, inventing things. Like when they look at us, and I've heard them say this, when they look at us and they see the talents that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have, like they say those talents or the way we are as a people, we should rule the people, should rule, like we should be strong because we the fastest, we the strongest, we invent things, we set trends, people look up to us, the things that we do is amazing, everything, even with, if you take for instance like the conditions that like we are in the ghetto, and these, like if you take for even Harvard students, they come, a lot of them also came from like what, the ghetto, single parent, many things and traumas happen to them and they still make it out on top. And these nations look at us being astounded, like, how are you able to overcome all these odds as individuals, but you are unable to come together as a nation? Salakia.
Most High Christ. Give him a hand. I like that. Okay. That's the astonishment. Okay. To see what we're capable of. They're astonished that we're still in the ghetto.
Right.
They're astonished that we're still on the bottom. To see that we're on crack. We made it through the heroin epidemic. We made it through the AIDS epidemic. We made it through the crack epidemic, and we're still here. They're astonished.
Right.
We're just an astonishment. You know what I mean? No matter how you, if it's a good, looking at it good, oh, they made it through the crack epidemic. We're still an astonishment because we're in the condition that we're in, and it seems to not be able to change. We can't get it together. Chinese people come over here, and that's all they do is deal with Chinese people.
Right.
Take care of Chinese people, love Chinese people, right here in the middle of America. But black people can't even, Hispanics and Native Indians, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, We can't even do that, and we've been here for 500-600 years. Okay. So read it from the top again.
Khan, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb.
Stop. What's a proverb? We broke down the astonishment. Now these are God's chosen people in the earth in 2024. They're going to be an astonishment. And they're going to be a proverb. What's a proverb?
Salakia, if I may.
Please.
Proverb be like a wetback, spick, a savage, like words that degrade us when we are really royalty and a better people than the damn people that gave us those names.
Right. So if you look at the earth today, there's a people that are in the earth, and a better example, Nawanya Allah, would be it says right here, a proverb and a byword. Okay, a proverb and a byword would be more like, okay, what do Chinese people call? Like, just what are they known as?
Salakia.
Go ahead.
You mean derogatory?
Okay, no. I said the word. So Chinese people are known as Chinese people.
Right.
Okay, so the Frenchman, what is he known as?
The French.
The French. That's what he is. He's a French. The British, they're known as what?
The British.
British. The Arabs, what are they known as?
Arabs.
They're called by who they are. They're being called by who they are. Now, what's Judah called?
Salakia.
Please.
Nigga.
Yeah, that's the byword. That's a proverb. Why is he not called Judah? What's Benjamin called?
Salakia, Jamaican?
Yeah. Why is he not called Benjamin? Why is he a Jamaican? That's a proverb and a byword. That's more of the proverb. Okay. What is the Levites called? What are the Levites called?
Haitians.
That's the proverb. Okay, that's a proverb. Ephraim, go ahead.
Wouldn't like a proverb be also like all niggas are lazy? It's like they would say things to that they would attach certain attributes to blacks, meaning like lazy, thug, like they thugs.
That's
or
the byword.
Come.
That's the byword.
All right, come on.
It's like y'all know, nigga, crackhead, wetback.
Right.
That's the byword. Okay. Now, it just told you that God's chosen people would become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Right.
Now, we just went through and found out that so-called white people, they're being called by who they are.
Right.
Not being called a proverb or a byword. So they can't be God's chosen people. Right?
Right.
Chinese people, they're called by who they are, right? They can't be, a byword. They can't be God's chosen people. The Arabs, the Ethiopians, they're all called by who they are, right? The only people that are not being called by who they are today is the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people.
Right.
So what does that mean?
Salakia.
Please.
That's the identifying marker to let you know that that's the children of Israel.
Those are God's chosen people. Those are the people that stopped keeping the covenant, that broke the covenant, that broke the commandments, and now they're cursed. Now we're reading about, we get to read these scriptures and describe them and be able to look at the earth and say, yep, that's them people. That's them, yep. Describe them to the T. That's them. Okay? So the reason, I'm here and bringing all this out is because, like I told you earlier, we have to break these things down real simple and plain so we can prove to our people who they are. That'll be the foundation of them coming back to the Most High.
Right.
Okay? So drop down to, 40, 48?
Come.
Give me verse 48.
Come. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Right. So therefore, if you keep the commandments, the Most High will put you on top of the earth. Therefore, if you do not keep these commandments, you will serve your enemies. Okay. This is a big problem with so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What's the big problem with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? One of you officers tell me, what is the big problem with our nation today that we just read?
So, like, if I may, can you reread the other one?
Okay, I'll read it. Verse Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. What's the problem with so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians when you read that?
Is it that we went against God, so He sent them?
I just read.
I'm not really
Look,
understanding.
Go ahead, Yeshaya.
Slagia, when you say the problem is like, okay, let me try and answer this way. Everywhere we go, we are serving other nations.
Right, that's true, but because the Lord said He was going to do that, right? But here's
Right.
the problem. Here's the problem. I'm going to read it again. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. The problem with blacks, so-called Hispanic.
Salakia.
Come on.
We don't think that they are our enemies.
The problem with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is we don't think we got enemies.
Right.
We don't have no enemies.
Right.
God loves everybody, so now we gotta love everybody. Even though everybody don't love us, that don't make you my enemy. I gotta, you know what I mean? We can send it, the other nations pull us over in their police cars, unalive us in the streets, and we won't say that they're our enemy. We'll say they need to be taught how to love better. They need to be taught how to do their job better, stuff like that. You know what I mean? When in reality, does the Koreans have enemies?
Right.
Do they have enemies?
Come on, Khan.
Okay. How about the East Indians? Do they have enemies?
Come on, Khan.
How about How about America? Does America have enemies?
Come on, Khan.
So how come African Americans don't have no enemies? How come Jamaicans don't have no enemies? Haitians don't have enemies. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. We've been beaten down so much. For us, the world to fight It's been beaten so far out of us. We've just decided that the only thing we seek is peace and love.
That's it. That's it. The Lord, we just read it a minute ago. Where is it? Shoot. Bubba, bing, bing, bing,
48.
right here. 33.
Come
And
on.
thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So, after being only oppressed and crushed for hundreds of years, you're blessed just to be alive. Just to be alive and wake up, man, we blessed. Dog. We blessed.
Come on, cuz.
Why? Negro just woke up, dog. I'm blessed. You know, no, like no other nation of people think like that. What is the current war over there? Who is it? Israel and the Palestinians. Israel and Palestine.
Slovakia.
Go ahead.
It's Israel, Palestine, and Iran. And
Right.
Slovakia.
Go ahead.
Israel, Palestine, Iran, and Lebanon.
But for argument's sake, them Palestine people, you know what I mean? They won't give up the fight.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're not saying God love everybody. They know they got enemies. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like so-called God's chosen people, they gave up the fight. They gave up. Okay? They don't know that they have enemies now. You've been serving your enemy for so long till you see yourself as them. So what do we now? We fight for our enemies. We fight for America and call ourselves African Americans. We joined the enemy. You understand?
Right.
We joined the enemy. Now, his enemy is our enemy. That's the only way we got enemies.
Right.
Not as just black people as a nation having, you know what I mean, enemies. Just black people, like it's not even a thing for us to stand on our own and be a people by ourselves.
Right.
We have to be joined to somebody else just to be considered a people.
Right.
We can't be us only, alone, standing on our own 2 feet. We have to be, and that's just like you said, Yeshaya, from us being beat out of us. You understand? It's been beat out of us to the point where we're not an individual no more. We got to be a part of somebody else. And that's where religion come in too. Now we have to be a Muslim, or we have to be a Baptist, or we have to be a Christian, or we have to be a Buddhist. We got to be under somebody because we don't have the strength and ability to stand we don't have the fight anymore to stand on our own.
Right.
But thanks to Commanding General Yohana, thanks to the Most High Christ and Commanding General Yohana, black people, black men are starting to get that fight back in it.
Right.
You know, we're pulling them out of the gutter. We're pulling them out of the slums, fixing black men and giving them their strength back, teaching them that they are God's chosen people. We have enemies, and we have to sober up and get ready to fight. You understand? Where we at? Okay, read verse 48 from the top.
Con, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
How did the Lord did it? Okay, that's how he put these curses on you. He used another nation of people, okay, to whip your tail. Go ahead.
In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So you got enemies. These are God's chosen people this scripture is talking about. So as God chosen people, it starts out letting you know you got enemies. And this God chosen people, this is what your enemy is going to do to you. God's chosen people, your enemy that God sent against you is going to do this thing right here. He's describing what your enemy is going to do to you. Now, you find out who this happened to, who did it to them, and now you can see who God's chosen people are and who their enemies are, right? Does that sound about right?
Right.
Okay, I'm just trying to break it down so everybody can see and understand who is who, who's the players in the earth today. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so God showed the people, therefore shall thou serve thine enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger. Now, and in thirst. So God showed the people, did we slack it? Distract it.
Concert.
Did we not read about the slave ship? Is that coming up?
It's coming up, other one.
Okay, all right. Almost got it. All right, so God showed the people this happened to you, and the people that did it to you are your enemies.
Right.
Okay. Thou therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Okay, so now these people are going to put you in a position where you have to come to them for water, for food, and for clothes. Okay, who did the Chinese man go to for food and water and clothes?
Chinaman, sir.
Yeah, they don't go to another nation of people for water, food, and clothes. How about the Arab man? Who does he go to for water, food, and clothes?
Slovakia. You go to his own.
He go to himself. He go to his own people. What people on the earth today go to another people for water, food, and clothes? Who are those people? Because those are going to be God's chosen people. What people are doing that on the earth today?
Slovakia, I don't want. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Those are God's chosen people. Because even the Africans over there, the Ethiopians, they make their own clothes. They got their own land, so they get their own water. They got their own cattle, their own plants and stuff. They don't go for another nation. I mean, they might get some what do you call it, like some residuals, you know what I mean, to kind of help with what they got. But they got their own land. They got their own cattle. They got their own produce. They got their own water. The only people that go to another people and in work of all things, water, food, and clothes, are the same people that, that went into a covenant with the Most High God.
Right.
And those people look like to me, that's Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay? Now, this is what else your enemy is going to do to you. Okay? And in work of all things, and shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. What people do you know on the earth today had a yoke of iron put on their necks?
Slovakia, I don't want.
Please.
If you Google right now,
I was going to ask you if you can somehow get it on the screen. Is it
Slovakia.
possible or no?
I'm not sure about.
No, you probably you got your phone. Okay, no sweat. Go ahead and tell them about it though.
Come on, sir. If you Google only these words, yoke of iron, only those words, yoke of iron, it will show you Negroes popping up with a yoke of iron upon their necks.
Put that in
And
the
it's
chat. Put that in the chat. Put Google yoke of iron in parentheses. You know what I'm saying? But Google search parentheses yoke of iron parentheses. You know what I mean? So they'll know what words to put in, and you'll see who God's chosen people are. You're going to see a picture of God's chosen people with a yoke of iron on their neck. Now, here's what you got to understand. The people that put that yoke of iron on their necks is their enemies. There's no way around it. You can't get away from it. Okay? The people who put that yoke of iron on their necks is their enemy. Hold on one second. Oh, okay, you're doing it. Okay, Most High Christ. All right, so you Google search what Officer Yeshaya just put in the chat, and it's going to show a so-called African American with a yoke of iron on his neck. Now, we just read that in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48, and it says the people that have that yoke of iron on their neck is God's chosen people. Now, it also states that the people who put that yoke of iron on God's chosen people is their enemy. I mean, think about it. Your friends wouldn't do that, would it? You think
Right.
your friends would put a yoke of iron on your neck, Yeshaya?
La.
Do you think your neighbor would do that to you?
La.
Nah. How about your brother? You think your brother would do that to you?
La.
Yeah. Only your enemy would do something like that to you. So
Right.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you have to do a reality check. You gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. I know it feels good to think God loves everybody and you don't have enemies. Because now you ain't gotta worry about that. You ain't got no enemies. Everybody, God loves everybody, you love everybody. It sounds like a goddamn fairy tale. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like something you would teach a 3-year-old child in preschool. You understand? Sounds like a fairy tale. You know why? Because that's what it is. It's a lie. God does not love everybody, and Black people, Hispanics, Native Indians, you do have enemies, okay? Read verse 48 and 49 if you would, Yeshaya.
48, 49, Khan. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Keep reading.
Khan, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shew favor to the young.
Who did that happen to? I'll tell you what happened to. Where's the slave ship part, Yeshaya?
68, I don't want.
Oh, okay, we still got a few more to go. Go ahead and drop down to 64.
Khan, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there shall and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither nor thy father, thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Keep going.
Verse 65.
I'm sorry, drop down to 68.
Khan. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Right. So let me go. We ain't got too much time, so I'm going to break down verse 68, right? For brothers and sisters who are just trying to understand this thing that, you know, whose God's chosen people are. Verse 68, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. Okay, so God's chosen people, the nation of people that God chose and went into a covenant with, after they stopped keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, he scattered them across the four corners of the earth. Now, who as a people are basically scattered across the four corners of the earth? I'll give you some examples. So-called black men, you know, so-called African Americans, we're everywhere. We are over in France, we're over in Britain, we're over in Korea, China, we're over here in America. Like, you go across the four corners of the earth and you're gonna find God's chosen people, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're gonna be in those lands doing what? What did it say we will be doing over there?
Slakia.
Go ahead.
Serving our enemies.
Yep, you're gonna be on the bottom. If you go to China right now, you see black people over there, they're gonna be the servants to the Chinese people. You go to Korea, there's black people over there, they're gonna be serving the Koreans. No matter where you go, Britain, Australia, wherever you go, where you see God's chosen people right now today, they're on the bottom. They're the servants, okay? They're cursed in that city, they're cursed in the field, you know what I mean? They are wanting for all things from other nations, okay? That's who in, okay? What did I read? Verse, okay. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. So that's the same example. You're going to see, you're going to go to, you can go to China. If you go to China, you're going to see black people over there serving the Buddha god. If you go to, where's the Arab? You go over there, you're going to see black people serving, what's that religion?
Islam.
Islam. You're going to see them serving a rock, okay? They're going to be banging their head on a rock, okay? You come over here to America, and you're going to see black people serving a wooden cross, okay? Wearing it around on their chest, okay? So those people that are serving all of these other, like, it's one family of people, but they're scattered everywhere, and they're serving other people's gods, okay? You see that? Those are God's chosen people. You see somebody that is in China, and he's not a Chinese man. He's serving, you know, Buddha, and he looks like an African American or a so-called Hispanic or a Native Indian. That's God's chosen people. Okay, verse 68. Drop down to verse 68. We ain't got much time.
Come on. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, and the Lord shall bring thee in, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Keep going.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Right. So this is the last one we're going to break down. It's describing God's chosen people and them living through the curses that God said he would put on them and that would overtake them and that they could not get away from. And it's described like this. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, Moses is telling these people that you're going to go into Egypt again. Basically, he's saying you're going to go back into Egypt, slavery, because they had just came out of Egypt. So now the word Egypt is just synonymous with bondage, slavery, because they had just came out of Egypt. So now they're saying, Moses is saying, you're going right back into Egypt. But this time, when you go into this new Egypt, it's going to be with ships. Now, he's talking to God's chosen people, and he's telling them they're going to go into bondage. They're going to go into captivity. They're going to go into Egypt with ships. So you look at the earth, and you say, okay, since Moses' time, what nation of people were like transported from one place to another place in ships, the whole nation of them, just to be servants to another people, just to go into slavery again? Who did that happen to? Did that happen to the Chinese man? Did he get shipped from China to another land just to be a bondman and a bondwoman? That didn't happen to them. Did that happen to the East Indians? No, that didn't happen to them. They're still in their land. Did it happen to the Ethiopians? No, they're still in their land. Did it happen to the Arabs? No, they're still in their land. Who did it happen to? It happened to blacks, so-called blacks, African Americans, Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Mexicans, Native Indians. This is who it happened to. So these are God's chosen people because they were put on slave ships. They're in Egypt again right now today. They're in bondage. You are made to think that you are free, but you are not. You're still in another man's land. You're still under another authority. You're under the authority of the government of Esau, not the government of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay? So you are God's chosen people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Okay? And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto you. Now this is Moses talking to these people. Okay, they just came out of Egypt, and he said, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. What does that mean, Yeshaya?
Slakia, the way he's Slakia, the way Moses is saying what he's saying to us right now, we are the way he's talking to us now, and if we break this law, we shall not see our culture again, our homeland again, our way of life again. We shall not see those things again.
Perfect. Like, even better though, it's gonna say, like, it's saying, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. You're perfect. You're right on it. You're not gonna see your land again. You're not gonna see your culture. You're not gonna see your God no more. You're just gonna see, you're gonna serve your enemies and serve other gods that your father, that you nor your father knew. Okay? And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Okay, nobody, this is going to happen to God's chosen people. They're going to be sold on an auction block for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man is going to be able to buy you. What does that mean? Because it says you're going to be sold. So what do you mean no man can buy you?
Slakia.
Go ahead.
The sold is them purchasing you, and the no man shall buy you is us being bought free from slavery, meaning redeemed.
Right, but it says no man, right? Kind of when you want to let them know that no man can. Go ahead.
Khan. So the no man shall buy you is meaning there's like no man shall buy you is like no man will be able to redeem you from this captivity. Like just like for instance the when the Jewish man was in Germany, he was redeemed by America and its allies, and they were given our land, which is now modern day Israel. And that's how they've been redeemed. They've been redeemed by a man which is which is their own nation, basically, which is their own people, which is Edomites. They've been redeemed by them, which is a man. But with us, it's not gonna be a man, it's not gonna redeem us. The Most High is gonna redeem us through the power of Christ.
So what? Okay, so you right on it. What I would say is this. It's kind of how it was broken down to me. No man can buy you. You're right. No man can save you. Okay. No man can redeem you. So you want to point out what we've been taught to believe in, right? Martin Luther King he couldn't save you. He couldn't get you out of your captivity, right?
Right.
Malcolm X couldn't get you out of your captivity.
Marcus Garvey.
All these people, they cannot, a man cannot do it. A man will not get you out of this captivity or this situation or this condition that you're in today. When you get out of this condition, the whole world will know God did it. It won't be no question.
Right.
You won't be walking the earth talking about, Martin Luther, boy, good thing for Martin Luther King. Now you'll be like, God, the Most High God did that. God got them, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians out of the condition they in, off the bottom. God took them that yoke of iron off their neck. God made it so they don't have to, go to another man for water, food, and clothes. You'll know God did it. Okay? Because no man is going to be able to buy you. That's the point, man.
You're right.
That's the whole point. Stop looking at man. Stop looking at Democrats. Stop looking at Republicans. Stop looking at black leaders. You know what I mean? Stop looking at celebrities to save you and get you out of this condition. We just broke it down, man. You got to come back to the Most High God that created the earth. His name's Yahweh, okay? He's the nigga God. You got to come back to him, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, okay? And with that, we're going to go ahead and end the class. Just go ahead and salute you brothers out, okay? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Barak a thumb to you brothers.
Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Barak a thumb.
Sorry, Christ. Yahweh Shemal a thumb Ba'ashim Yahushua to the sisters, okay? We are the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're under commanding General Yohana, and we're not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. Since 1969, we've been teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people that they are God's chosen people. And with that comes responsibilities. We got to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that we've been bringing out all night. Okay? If you got any questions, you hit us up, ISUPK Florida on YouTube, ISUPK Florida on Instagram. Okay? So give us a hit. If you got any questions, let us know, and we'll get you together. Okay? Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.